I guess I'll be just sharing or doing some kind of a revision with all of us here, hearing as well as practicing so many lessons of Ramadan, which should have basically affected your behavior, whatever that your routine, and basically it's a good checkpoint because we are already in the middle of this great month, which is it is basically a big training module, right? With so many components from the internal side, the heart part side, as well as the outward, the physical side, where we have to basically give up things that we love so much. Everyone loves to eat, right? We love to eat, we love to drink, we love to socialize with our friends, with our colleagues. We like to show off and share the food that we eat. We give comments and we even criticize when the food that we eat is not up to our expectations. So these are the things that we love to do every day, and it is already part of our routine. And even in Islam, we pay so much attention on the importance of the food that we eat. The food must be clean, must be healthy, must not be poisonous. With regard to your consumption behavior, when you have taken Islamic economics, how should you then spend your income? However, regardless of how great we are in the need of all these food and drinks, when Ramadan comes, we have been trained to somehow give up these things that we need, these things that we love so much. So in Islamic economics, we have already distinguished between wants and needs. And there is no denying food and drink, these are part of our needs, our biological needs. But then when the month of Ramadan comes, apparently everyone here, we were able, until now we are able to give up these needs simply because of a higher kind of, in other words, something else that is more that we even need, things that we love. And because of that, I guess today is the 14th of Ramadan. It will be a good checkpoint, a self-reflection checkpoint to look back at our behavior, at our thinking, at our emotion, whether this time Ramadan, the school of Ramadan really did left something in us. Otherwise, it would be a great loss if this month were to go away after we will be celebrating Eid. Anything in us, except that we only suffer thirst and hunger, which will be some kind of maybe some of us would be happy to lose some weight so that you can wear a nice outfit in during the Eid day. But surely there should be other things that we want to achieve in this life. So Ramadan is a good reminder because it will come yearly, every year, to remind us about the objective that we have. There is a greater purpose in our life, and there are things that we should be willing to give up. So the outcome of this Ramadan is basically to enhance and to strengthen our internal self-control. In other words, you should be able to be a good person out of your own free will. You don't need to have your parents here, and of course, you don't need to have your lecturers or your teachers to monitor your behavior all the time, and you don't need to have the makcik and pakcik, because fasting from dawn to dusk time period, surely everyone knows that there will be no one to observe, to monitor, to have their eyes upon your behavior all the seconds, the minutes, the hours when we are fasting, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the only one that will be all seeing, all hearing, knows what we do. Because surely, it would be very easy for anyone to simply go to the washroom and take a sip of water without anyone noticing. Right? That's your privacy. Everyone has their privacy right to basically go to the washroom and deny, right, other people from seeing whatever that they are doing. So the same things should basically, leave an impact in your behavior. For example, in the examination weeks to come at the end of the semester, you don't actually need, a proctor or an invigilator to accompany you to go to the washroom, because even though whatever ways, whatever strategies that we try to do to cheat in the exam and stuff, or to submit your assignment, we know that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is always monitoring our behavior. Right? So if these things do not affect our behavior, then unfortunately, Ramadan is basically useless, because it failed to change our attitude, it failed to change our behavior. So now we have the other half of Ramadan, so it is still not too late for us to really do a self-reflection and look back, at everyone's behavior. You have all the books, student discipline books, all these things. Of course, the law will always be there, right? The law will always be there. Now that you are student, and later on when you move out, the law will always be there. But Ramadan should basically train us such that we don't need to have the external enforcer. We don't really need to have police. If everyone, imagine if Ramadan really make everyone, to become a good person out of their own free will, simply because they want to please Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because Allah is the only one that knows our behavior in Ramadan when we are fasting. Right? So that's why when you look into the many hadith as well as verses of the Quran about fasting in Ramadan, it is not simply stop at leaving food and drinks. There will be other advices, other guidance, how Ramadan should basically mold our behavior, besides leaving the food and drinks, things that we love. So this is also a good thing to show that human, is up to the challenge, such that later on when you love something, when you love someone, you are willing to do sacrifices. Right? What we are doing right now, because we are not getting the rewards yet, right? All the other good deeds, we know in the hadith, Qudsi, the Prophet ﷺ told us, as well as in the Quran, the rewards, the ajr for good deeds, basically Allah will multiply it by 10 times, right? 10 times or more. 10 times, and it can be more, 7,000 and stuff, except for fasting. Except for fasting. Because all the other good deeds that you do, when you pray, when you give sadaqah, when you give zakat, when you help your friends, right? When you belanja your friends for iftar and stuff, these are all things that can be seen. People can see that you are doing something good. But when you are fasting, you stop yourself, you give up a worldly pleasure, things that you need in life, simply because you want to please Allah, because this is a command from Allah. And surely there is no one way that will be really effective to measure, to distinguish whether this person is fasting or not. It is only up to the person himself or herself. So this is among the wisdom given by the scholars why Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala distinguished fasting and mentioned that fasting is for me. Wa ana ajziyu bi. And Allah is the one that will determine how much would the reward will be. Because we simply do it, and it is impossible for anyone to monitor this, simply because we want to please Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And we know the reward will not come yet, right? This is something that may come in the hereafter. So maybe I'll take this opportunity to share with all of you. So it is also a good reminder for me to reflect upon my behavior, whether this Ramadan is really effective to me or not. So let me just share this hadith from Abu Hurairah, and Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man lam yada' qawla az-zur wal 'amala bih falaysa lillahi hajatun fi an yada'a ta'amahu wa sharabahu. Rawahul Bukhari. So from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, whoever does not leave lying, cheating in speech and evil actions, then Allah is not in need of him leaving his food and drink. In other words, Allah will not accept his fasting, right? His fasting will not really be effective because our behavior do not change, right? So surely, so this is an indicator that Ramadan is not just limited at leaving food and drinks. In other words, it should change our behavior, our routine, things that we love so much. Every day we have breakfast in the morning. If you miss your breakfast, surely you cannot really focus in your class, is it? Your morning class, 8:30 in the morning class. But apparently in Ramadan, when we really force ourselves to do it, simply because our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apparently we were able to do it. Maybe during the first 2-3 days, you might feel a bit dizzy, sleepy and stuff because you need to change your habit. But until now, we are able to do it. We are able to give up our lunch. When we are thirsty, Malaysia is a tropical country and we know the weather is very, very hot. So you may end up very thirsty towards in the afternoon, in the late afternoon. But still, everyone, we are able to control ourselves. Even in the afternoon, if you still imagine your parents, they need to prepare your meal. Some parents, some mothers, they still cook and stuff, and they still got a lot of energy to do it, even though they were tired, right? So this is actually a training. Ramadan train ourselves to basically push ourselves to the limit, to know that we could be better. There are things that we can sacrifice and we can do it simply because of our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? To reach that taqwa level. And not only that, we would be able to change our routine. If before this we used to make jokes too much, making lies and stuff, and our behavior, we tend to do bad things and stuff. But when we fast during the month of Ramadan, that should create a feeling, an inner feeling that, I am fasting and Allah is watching me fasting. So surely Allah is also watching whatever that is coming from my mouth and whatever that I am doing with my hands, with our physical bodies. And because of that, I need to become more sensitive so that Allah will be happy with me. So if this internal kind of control, self-control, which is we have been trained every year for these 29 days, 1 month, we have to exert our own self-control. We don't need to have a security guards or police or your ustaz or ustazah to monitor your fasting and stuff. So surely our behavior, we could basically become a better person, even though there's no one to reward us, even though there's no one to watch us except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So 14 days, it is still not too late. If before this we used to make jokes or tell lies like what the Prophet mentioned in the hadith, cheating here and there and doing bad deeds. So please, it's still not too late. Change those and make the good words, speaking good words and stuff to be our routine. Okay. Essentially, when people are hungry, that would always make them to be more aware of what they are doing, right? People usually become more sensitive when they are hungry, kan. Jangan cari-cari pasal kalau kawan tu yang lapar, kan. Sikit pun dia akan boleh trigger. So when we are hungry, we should be more sensitive. So that's so you see, it's kind of a full package. Physically, biologically, it should trigger that, we feel different. And that should affect whatever that is coming from our mouth and our whole body. And at the same time, the spiritual part, we are aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. And throughout all this is why, again, in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, as-siyamu junnah. fasting would be a shield against the hellfire. Because it triggered us. It makes us to be more sensitive of whatever that we are doing, even though that is our routine, right? When we leave our routine, our habit, then that would have an impact on the next routine that we want to develop after Ramadan. So I think that would be all from me. I would like to wish everyone have a successful, productive Ramadan. I guess I'm supposed to stop before Zuhur time, right? Cakap banyak-banyak pun bukan ni kan, cakap sikit pun jadilah kan. At least hopefully by this little sharing from me today, it would serve as a good reminder for me as well as for all of you to do to get the, to take this opportunity of this middle half of Ramadan self checkpoint and see if there are other things that we can do in order to make this Ramadan to be really fruitful and effective. This is a micro kind of analysis. To all individuals, we are responsible for ourselves and make sure that all of us would pass this test, Ramadan, successfully. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for the invitation. أقول قولي هذا وبالله التوفيق والهداية. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you, Dr. Iwan, for sharing. So we also hope that we can pass this Ramadan. So in the end of Ramadan, we can be like Quran says, "La'allakum tattaqun." So we can be taqwa for all of us. So Alhamdulillah, we are already at the end of the session. Hence, I would like to invite Brother Ahmad Imtiaz to give a token of appreciation. So, Dr. Iwan. Oh, ada bagi token? Is this something new? Okay. Okay. Your evidence. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the dates. Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much, Doctor. Inilah buka puasa ni. Puasa. Okay. Doctor. For students attending today's session, the form is provided in the front. Almost to the hall and also